Hello, this is my presentation on the heart and circulatory system. We need blood, but why? Well, blood delivers oxygen and takes away the waste products that each individual cell in our body produces. So, imagine with me that each cell is a house. And these houses, they work and they work and they work and they do their specific function in the body. And what they need to work is food. They need food to work just like us, and work almost always produces a byproduct and just a waste product, and that'll build up and build up and build up. So that presents a problem where each individual cell, or the houses, needs food, yet it's producing all this waste product. That's where blood comes in. Blood goes from the heart and lungs, which I'll get into more in a minute, travels out around to the houses. Now this, you can imagine, this is an artery, and you can imagine that it's like an interstate where the red blood cells, which are like little trucks that deliver food and then take away garbage. So it goes along the artery highway to each individual house, where it enters little teeny roads called capillaries, and it delivers the food that the cell needs, the little house needs the food, and it can continue to work, and as it does that, it produces waste product. Now that waste product is also taken away by the same trucks, the red blood cells, along the veins back to the heart and lungs to be exchanged for more food, which I'm going to now. This blood travels from those cells back to the heart, where it comes in through the superior and inferior vena cava. It pours into the right atrium, and that is this top chamber right here of the heart. And as it does that, it flows down into the right ventricle. So in this right ventricle, it still has the waste product that it got from each individual cell. And what is it going to do with that? Well, the heart itself is a big muscle, and that muscle will contract and squeeze, and through that it pushes the blood with pressure. It pushes it out to the pulmonary arteries into the lungs, where gas exchange occurs. Basically, what that is, it trades the garbage for the food that it needs, and that's when we breathe. But so it comes in with the waste products, and then we breathe in the food, the oxygen that each individual cell needs, and then it comes back through the pulmonary veins and drains into the left atria. And then it pours down into the left ventricle, which is a little bit bigger because this ventricle has to just push it to the lungs, so it does not need that much force. Whereas this one needs a lot more force. So it really, really squeezes, and then it'll come out to the rest of the body, because it has to go all throughout the body and deliver the food and oxygen that each individual cell, the little houses, need. So, why would it continue in one direction, you may ask? That is because of these valves right here. There's valves at each intersection between the atria and the ventricles and the other places where it's going to travel to. So, these valves are one-way valves. You can think of them as the blood will come in here, and it just directs traffic. So once it's here, and there's enough blood there, they will close, not allowing it to go backwards. Same thing over here. It'll pour into here. It will not be able to go backwards. Then as it squeezes, it pushes open these two valves, the pulmonary valve and the aortic valve, which is right behind there, to where it needs to go. So both these processes happen at the same time. There's blood in the left ventricle at the same time that there's blood in the right ventricle. So it squeezes, pushing it out to the lungs and the body at the same time. Now that we understand, well, we got the basics of the mechanical function. So the heart squeezes, putting the blood under a lot of pressure and moving it throughout the body, into the lungs. Just it keeps the movement going by that constant squeezing. But how does it know when to squeeze? Well, To the mechanical side, there's an electrical portion on it, you see. There is the SA node, which is a specialized cell it's a pacemaker cell, is what it's called. And what that does, you can think of it like the manager of the trucks, and it keeps the blood under pressure by controlling the squeezes of the heart. So the SA node, he's the boss, most of the time. And basically what he does is he'll send out impulses, basically just like beat, and then it travels along these wires. You can think of them as wires. They're very, very conductive cells. And as it does that, it goes around and then it spreads out along, like basically think of it like telephone wires almost, with like megaphones on the top. So it travels along and it's like beat, 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 and it's just beat, 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 and it tells it to contract. So all of this will contract as it goes along. So it starts here, and as it goes this way, down here, and then it takes a quick break at the AV node. And as it's going along these paths, it makes all this contract, which then helps push the blood from the atria down to the ventricles. So that's what this little AV pause is for. It just delays just for a second at the AV node. Then the ventricles are full. It will travel from the AV node down the bundle of His to the different bundle branches, and at the same time, these are the same wires that they will basically give this message to all the heart cells and all their neighbors, telling them it's time to go, it's time to beat. So the heart contracts as it goes down. It goes down along these wires, and it does this in fractions of a second. So it just goes just like that. And it'll continue to do that about 60 to 100 times per minute. And as it travels down here, that's when the ventricles will contract, and that is what sends the blood to the lungs and to the rest of the body through the aorta. One more thing. The nervous system, or the brain, that interacts with the heart. Now the heart itself has this property called automaticity, where it'll beat independently of the brain. So it does not need the impulses from the brain to beat. It's the SA node and the different nodes that'll pacemake the heart. And basically the brain's role in this is like the quality control supervisor. So as the trucks pass by with their waste products and food, it'll kind of check them and be like, okay, this has too much food, and that's going to go to the houses and rot because they don't need that much. So then what it will do, it'll activate the parasympathetic portion of it and tell the heart to slow down, like we're delivering too much food, and it just helps to keep it balanced. Now, if it notices that there's not enough food and too much waste, it becomes sympathetic to the houses, and it'll be, okay, they need more food, more waste removal. So then it'll stimulate the heart to beat faster, thus bringing more food out and getting rid of more waste products, which is exchanged in the lungs. So it trades the waste for the food, delivers it around the body to each individual house, and the process continues from before your birth till your death.